Personally, I am not rooting for anyone. I just want to see interesting decks. I want to see interesting lines of play. I think that's why I'm really interested in the Southeast Asia competitions, because you guys have a different way of thinking and of doing the plays. We respect you a lot for that.
Thank you so much. So yes, guys, the first round of the top 4 battle is gonna begin, and gonna be NotZ against Blackhole with a Shen, Lulu Mirror, and Blackhole is a really good Demacia player with 1, 2, and 3 all lined up, ready for him to go.
So far, I've been calling all the bands correctly, and I've been calling the Lulu Shen Mirror. What next?
What's next? You're gonna predict the champion
The
for this
winner?
tournament. Yeah.
Nah, I'm not gonna say that. I don't want to caster curse everyone.
So here comes turn 2 War Chefs from Blackhole, potentially attacking with everything, but with their Bright Steel Protector, is kind of like wouldn't allow Blackhole to attack this turn.
Well, so far I think you take this trade and remove the Flower Child now, while your opponent cannot use combat tricks. You also force your opponent into not blocking with the Warships, because they usually want more value out of Warships. Warships is not just a jump blocker.
Exactly. So it seems like the Flower Child is gonna be bye-bye right now.
Is not going to be greedy and say, okay, I'm going to develop, I'm in a safe position. It seems like it. It's interesting nonetheless.
So not actually develop the Flower Child immediately, and it seems like Blackhole has the opening to defend his Flower Child.
That might also signal that NotZ might have another worships of himself in his hand. He decides not to take the trade.
Well,
That's
not
interesting.
doing anything this turn, and Shen is probably gonna come down right now.
And we are going to see a support chain here. I think Shen is going to support the worships. The worships are going to support the Flower Child, maybe.
Here we have a support chain.
Maybe or maybe not. I think you don't go for the support chain just because you're too free. Your Flower Child might get removed, or you're too free. You have to pick from one of the two. Which is more important? He
So
decides to save the Flower Child, maybe just because he has the Shen, he has the barrier effects, he can push more damage and force more awkward trades from his opponent if he's doing this, instead of just having worships.
Yep, and it seems like the War Chef is gonna go this turn.
Let's actually go over Blackhole's list and see if he's running any copy of Ranger's Dissolve. NotZ is running 2 copies, and Blackhole is running 2 copies. Why that is important is because NotZ might consider blocking with Shen instead of the free 2 and not leave the 2 free a chance to survive. Fortunately for him, Blackhole doesn't have the Ranger's Dissolve in hand.
Yep, and Blackhole top decks a Relentless Pursuit as well. So would not go for the open attack over here.
And now we're seeing also Blackhole having his top end. He has Hitria, he has the Genevieve, he also has the way to attack even more with that Relentless Pursuit in hand when he established a good board for himself.
Yep, and here comes a Screeching Dragon from NotZ side of the field. Now that dragon is gonna be really scary as it grows, as turns goes by.
Well, for now it's not putting any pressure. I think he's just going to maybe take the trade on the free 2. Yes, he's going for that one. that lets the dragon grow. It doesn't put him into any real pressure. He can decide to block the Shen with his own Shen. Not sure what that accomplishes now, but maybe you put the Shen into killing range with some other minions that you top deck, maybe another Fleet Feather Tracker, or you just use the Laurent Protege to deal with the Shen.
Yep. here comes taking the turn back from NotZ, and the Genevieve is definitely gonna come down over here, buffing everything by +1/+1.
And what's nice about this Genevieve, it gives Blackhole the opportunity to double trade. He can decide to go for the 1-2 and the 2-1,
Yeah.
and remove a bit of NotZ board, make him need to actually drop something in order to block.
So the ball is back on NotZ side of the field. What could NotZ do with 8 mana available in his disposal?
Well, he can drop his own Citria or his own Genevieve if he wants to. But that doesn't make a difference for the trades on the Genevieve that Blackhole has been put on the board right now.
Right. So here comes a Lauren Prodigy, and Blackhole has the opening to attack, killing the Shen immediately.
Also, these trades are so good, especially because none of them is playing the riposte. It has been a huge deal in the last meta and on the competitive scene, but now both players are not playing any riposte. Also, we might see as the time passes by an introduction of the Bright Steel formation in this Lulu Shen list. I'm not sure what you are going to remove, maybe for the top end is a nice addition.
Bright Steel formation, wow, but will you even go into turn 9?
If you are going for the aggressive approach, you are not going to play Bright Steel, but if you expect your turns to prolong, I think you want to go for Bright Steel formation.
Right. That would be an
Just to have an additional way to protect yourself. If you don't hit a Lulu that buffs your units, you just protect everything and say, screw you, you are not touching my units.
So here comes the Flower Child from NotZ side. It seems like Blackhole has to kill the dragon this turn.
If he wants, he also gets an additional attack because of the Relentless Pursuit.
Yep.
It's just a matter of choice if he wants to go for this attack here, depending on what NotZ is going to do, or he's going to wait to develop both his C3s on the board. Make everything just unable to block from NotZ side.
So here we have the trade on both creatures from NotZ side, bringing NotZ creature count down to 3 minions.
And they don't really have, as I said, many combat tricks. And Blackhole decides to go aggressive with that Relentless Pursuit. He just wants to get the minions out of the way. And from this point forward, it's just GG. And Blackhole takes the first one.
Yeah, so here we have Blackhole winning game number 1 against NotZ over here, and we're moving on to game number 2.
And that leaves Blackhole with just his
Diana Nocturne.
with his Diana Nocturne.
Yep.
Oh my god. NotZ is going to be in for another fun ride. Because this Diana Nocturne can perform well against the Demacia list, because they need a bit of time to assemble their combos, and against this Aurelion Sol Leona list, it can just out damage the heal. We're going to see, depending on what you draw. These matchups are very draw dependent. If your opponent manages to hold the pressure for even a bit, it's going to be rough for you.
Exactly.
You usually want to finish the game, maybe round 5, 6, potentially 7. But if the game reaches turn 8, it's going to be hard.
Yep, and
for Blackhole.
So it's either gonna be really fast for this game, or it's just gonna be really slow.
If it's really fast, it's Blackhole's win. If it's really slow, it's
Not
NotZ win.
win.
Nothing to debate about that.
So here comes the
So
turn
far
1
seems
Dustbringer.
He has the nice hand here. He can drop 2 units if he wants. He can even bank on his Dusk Petal flowers if he doesn't want to.
So bringing NotZ health to 2 over here.
And I like that open attack because that prevents a Solari shield bearer being dropped by your opponent and
Yeah.
kind of messing with your attack.
Mm-hmm. So an atrocity off the top of Blackhole, it could help him later on into the game to close it. And here comes a Solari Priestess.
I don't know about the atrocity tech in these decks. It is very situational. Maybe in the tournament scene it is a thing, but on ladder I wouldn't advise people to recommend that because it's just taking a slot where you can put a unit that can finish the game faster. Something like Cygnus, for example.
Yep. Actually, Cygnus is really good to help you close the game at the late game.
Exactly. Well, this attack is not going to do much, I think. It's just going to be a block from Blackhole, and then he can push for 3 plus 3, that's 6 damage on next turn if he decides to go for the attack.
Yeah, passing the turn back to Blackhole over here. Could Blackhole going for the Petal into Crescent Guardian.
And the thing is, he can also play the Outlooker and push for even more damage.
Oh, and the Leona here stunning the Crescent.
Maybe that was actually the consideration. What do you wanna go with? Do you wanna go for the Stygian onlooker so it gets stunned by the Leon and you can hit for with the 5-3? Maybe force a trade, or do you go in assuming that your 5-3 is going to get stunned by a Leona because it's turn 4?
Right, and actually this attack over here is more effective as it kind of trades with the Leona right over here, unless you have a Pale Cascade, or else that Leona is gone.
Let's see. Do you have a NotZ? Show us the money.
Does not have.
Also, having the 5-3 not stunned would have meant that Leona cannot really trade.
Yeah, and here comes a Trochan over here. The Leona survives another turn.
So far, I think NotZ is managing to put that aggression off. He's stabilizing somewhat. Maybe if he's hiding his Daybreak cards, in the following turns he's just going to stun his opponent forever and not and render him unable to attack for the turns to come.
Yeah, and here comes the Solaris Soldier, and it kind of shows that
Thinking about
he might not have a Rabut for this turn as well.
Well, he might just want to go for the Leona level up instead of the Ravun. That's a consideration as well. And he also might want to put some blockers on the board because he knows he doesn't really need to put any pressure. He just needs to kill the blockers, to have an answer for them, for his opponent's attackers, and once they reach turn 10, it's kind of game over.
Yeah, and here we have a Sketcher actually discarding a Aurelian Soul from NotZ. Does that actually shows that NotZ have another Aurelian Soul on standby?
I think so. Otherwise, I think you don't ever discard an Aurelian Soul.
So Fallen Comet Destroyer and the Traveler.
It's interesting. You can go for the Falling Comet if you consider Leona a big threat, because Aurelian Soul you are not going to touch that one because it has spell shield when it comes on the board.
Right, and here comes the Serpent from the Invoke from the Sketcher.
And this attack looks pretty good for NotZ. He's forcing Blackhole to potentially block with his I3 or take this damage because the 2-1 blocks don't look really appealing for him.
Blackhole decided with the no blocks, moving on to the next round with another copy of Diana.
This Diana might level, or it might be already leveled.
Yep,
yes, it is already leveled. He also has one Pale Cascade in hand, and he has a Pale Cascade from the Diana if he needs to trade more favorably.
And here comes a 5-3 Diana with a quick attack. And
And
Challenger.
I think you want to remove the Leona here, so it doesn't wreak havoc with your in your attacks. You don't want her to stun you consistently and render you unable to attack without being awkward with your attackers.
Yep, and here we have a Sun and Moon showdown.
Is that a Pokemon reference,
Yeah,
Moonboy?
man, that's a Pokemon reference. So we have a pure cascade going on into the crescent, allowing it to survive this attack and at the same time pushing in 2 more extra damage.
Well, the mentor of the stone is going to help Blackhole deal more overwhelm damage in the turns to come, I think. Because he can buff even more the Crescent Guardian. He can also buff with his other Diana in hand. Oh, never mind. That's disgusting.
And here
Golden
comes these
Sister
golden
is just
sisters.
disgusting. Especially on your attack turn, to have a Golden Sister is basically golden.
It's golden.
I think Blackhole needs to remove that Golden Sister if he wants to advance his Morking plan with
Yep.
Falling Comet that he's offering now.
Seems like he already got the answer in mind for that golden sister, but the silver sister might be kind of an issue right here with the elusive tech.
Well, it might not be just because you can challenge it with Diana. You can get it out of the way. Your opponent still needs to block a 5-1 that's coming to his face. And judging he has only a Mountain Scryer for now on the board, at least 2 damage is going to get through, not considering any other combat tricks.
Right. And not forgetting he has an atrocity in hand, and as nightfall goes, Diana grows bigger and the atrocity actually has more value as the game goes by.
This is interesting. If you run Atrocity, you might even consider to run in your list the Dusk Rider just as a finisher with Atrocity.
Dropping down the Mentor of the Stones.
And for those of you who don't know what Dusk Rider is essentially a 5 mana 2/5 that on Nightfall gets +1 attack for every Nightfall unit that you have played this game.
Healing the Crescent, bringing his attack up to 7 and fully healed. With the buff, it's gonna bring him down to 9-5. Wow.
This game might be sealed now, especially with double Pel Cascade in hand from Blackhole.
Yep, not forgetting he has the Atrocity open as well. Here comes the Behold, invoking, trying to find an answer to this particular combat.
Well, I think Blackhole might have wanted to play a Nightfall card, just one of the Pel Cascades, just because he could have buffed the Crescent Guardian and pull the 4/3 with Leona, with Diana. So your Crescent Guardian is not under any threat. Because his opponent might decide to buff the sister. Never mind, this attack just gets through, and depending on what NotZ has gotten from
It got the Challenger of the Invoke, and it seems like Atrocity here is gonna seal the game.
It depends. If NotZ has his Hush, it might not really seal the game.
Alright, Hush.
It's still a card.
Yeah.
Well, Blackhole can afford taking it slow. He doesn't really need to rush things a bit. Even if Aurelion Soul comes down on the board, that's going to be basically it for that turn.
So Solari Priestess unable to get Invoke, 3 Pale Cascades in hand and an
And that's
Atrocity.
2 of them are Dianas as well. You can just cycle your Dianas forever at this point.
So what Blackhole could do is actually could go for the Atrocity and then try to protect the Crescent with the Pale Cascade as well. That could also be possible. Even though with the Hush...
Well, he can go for that. His opponent is going to Hush. He is going for another Pale Cascade. His opponent Hushes. He's going for another Pale Cascade. His opponent Hushes.
So it's an endless Hush.
Silence! I kill you!
I kill you! So passing the turn back to NotZ, what could NotZ potentially do over here with the challenger challenging the Crescent?
Nothing much, I think. He's just Blackhole is just going to go for the Atrocity plan. His opponent might decide to go for that Hush we have been speaking. Or he might not even have the Hush to begin with.
Ooh, going for the challenge on the Shadow Stalker.
He's just keeping his mana open. He wants to have combat tricks available, especially because he knows his opponent is running 2 copies of Atrocity.
So Star Shaping over here bringing him out of
I don't think
Hush
that's
range.
enough.
That's
Because
11.
you can just play the Pale Cascade.
Yeah, Pale Cascade into
you can play
Atrocity.
the Atrocity. And it's an interesting thing if you queue up a fast spell and then you go for the if you don't even need to queue it. If you just go for a fast or slow spell and then you go for a nightfall spell, it's always going to proc. It's interesting.
So it's definitely gonna be a Pale Cascade into Atrocity over here.
And that's kind of going to be it. I don't think there is any comeback from NotZ here.
And here we have the Lulu emote once again. Firing the Atrocity for Blackhole into NotZ Nexus, not surrender. And that is it. But here we have the
I guess we
victory
have
tree.
another semi-final, right?